Good morning. So today is wash day and I want to do something that I haven't done in a while, and that is tone my overly blonde ends. They're starting to look just a little bit yellow, and I've got a great DIY toner which is CG friendly, and it's very cheap and very easy to do, so I am going to show you how I do it today. And because pre-CG, you know, that people say to use a purple shampoo, and that works. It never used to work for me, but for some people it works great at toning their colour, or you can go and buy a box of toner. But most of these shampoos are really harsh sulfate shampoos, so I'm going to show you how to do this nice and easy DIY way, which works really well. So this is everything that I am using today to do this toner. So basically you start off with any regular CG conditioner. So I'm actually going to use a mix because I've got a little bit left of this Ultimate Blends Almond Crush mask, which is a light mask, and I've got a little bit left of this Aldi Lacura Moisture Conditioner, which is no longer CG, but I've still thankfully got some bottles that are. I'm going to mix them together, and I'm just going to do that. I've got a tub to mix it in, but because this is nearly empty, I think I'm just going to do it in here. And you just need enough conditioner to cover all of your hair. So I'm going to go ahead and pour the rest of this into here. This is actually a really good way to use up any odds and ends of conditioners that you've got laying around. I've mixed them together. So I think I would say in there is enough to cover all of my hair. So the next thing I'm going to do is I am going to use one of these. I'm using the Reach Directions. You can get this on Amazon. It's really inexpensive, and you use such a tiny amount to do this toner that it is just super cost effective. So I've got a neon blue there, and I have violet. And basically what you're doing, the reason that we use blue or purple shampoos or treatments on blonde hair is because violet, or that violet purple, is the opposite side of the colour wheel to yellow. And of course, dyed blonde hair has a tendency to go yellow. And the neon blue is the opposite to orange. So if perhaps you've got darker hair and you've got highlights and they're going a bit orangey, then the neon blue is the opposite on the colour wheel to orange. So I tend to like to do a little bit of either. It gives like a slightly more ashy effect. And I'll show you just how little you need to use and then what I do. Hair colour application brush. This just works well for mixing and for applying. And this is the violet, let me check. Yes, and this one is the neon blue. And so I literally am going to take this brush and I'm going to just dip the ends in like that. So you can see there is really not very much dye on there at all. And I'm going to add that into the conditioner. There, you can see it, and I'm going to mix it in. I'm going to mix that in really thoroughly. So I mixed that really thoroughly, and you can see it's kind of slightly, it almost looks like a yogurt of some kind, slightly purpley. So now I'm going to do the same thing in the neon blue and just dip the ends. As you can see, it's just a very small amount. It's always best to start off small with doing this. And even if you do it and then apply it to your hair and don't think you've got much of a result, trust me, that is better than overdoing it, because you could end up with patchy purple streaks or blue streaks, and you really don't want that. So I'm going to go ahead and give that a good stir. So we've got this kind of light purple colour conditioner. And from having done this before, I feel like I possibly need to add just a tiny little dash more. And I'm going to go for the purple because obviously I find that the purple is just a little bit more subtle, the blue is a bit more dramatic. So again, I'm just dipping in the ends. I'm going to mix that in. Okay, that looks a bit more like the colour we're wanting. It's a little bit more purpley. That's the kind of colour that I tend to go for. But like I say, always best to go smaller to start with. You can always do it again next wash day. You know, it's not a big deal if it doesn't do much, but it is a big deal if you dye your hair purple or blue. So always go carefully. Okay, so I've given that a really good stir. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to wet my hair. So I've just wet my hair, it's dirty, I've just wet it, that is all, and I've squeezed out some excess water, and I've just tucked this towel around just to stop myself getting absolutely soaked. And I'm just basically going to apply this really carefully and thoroughly to my entire hair, because what you don't want is it being patchy. I'm just going to get in there with my hand and just make sure I get that all the way through. If your hair is particularly tangly, I'd recommend detangling before you do this, because obviously you want to be able to make sure that it's well distributed, and if your hair is tangly, then that might be difficult. So I am concentrating what's left of the toner on the ends, because of course that's where it's most blonde and most processed and most likely most yellow. So there we go. Can you kind of already see like the colour, the fact that that slightly lilac-y conditioner onto the yellow makes it look just a better colour. So I'm just going to pop that up here out of the way, and I'm going to stick on shower cap, and I'm going to leave that for around about 20 minutes to half an hour, and then I will rinse it out. So I left that semi-permanent dye and conditioner mix on my hair probably close to an hour in the end, just because I was being a mum. And then I just thoroughly rinsed it out, co-washed, did all my usual routine, and it's subtle, but I can definitely see a difference. You'll always notice it more on the lightest sections of your hair, but yeah, it definitely is a creamier, slightly ashier colour on especially these white blonde ends than it was before, and I'm really pleased actually with how it's worked. So it's super simple and very cheap. Like I say, the Manic Panic, sorry, not the Manic Panic, the La Riche directions, you can also use Manic Panic, it does the same job pretty much. They are CG approved, they are really cheap, and obviously you saw how much you use. You do not need two colours, you can just use one. I'd recommend that you start off with the violet, because it's slightly less of a strong reaction. The neon blue can make your hair a little bit kind of grey, bluey coloured if you're not careful. Has happened to me before, so be careful, go little bit by little bit, and yeah, I think it works really, really well.